This is the Post Shift Podcast, your raw look at the hospitality industry.
Welcome to another episode of the Post Shift Shot. I'm, of course, your host, Shawn Soole. This is the second last episode for the year, I believe. This will be tomorrow, which means that next week will be the New Year's Eve. So yeah, this is the second last episode for the year. And I've been thinking about this and sort of tabulating and putting it in my head as I usually do for these things. And I was going to do a quick little video on a walk, like my usual Sunday rant, but then I realized it was going to be much longer. And so I want to sort of circle all the way back to an old episode about mentorship. And this got me thinking because someone asked me who my mentor was, and I've been asked a bunch of questions with the younger bartenders and older business owners and so on and so forth. And so I started breaking down exactly what I think there's 3 levels of mentorship. I'll try and articulate this as best I can because I'm not very good at articulating, as you probably know if you've listened or watched any of my episodes. Sorry, I've got a little stomach thing, so I'm having some Amaro. So, first is self-mentorship. Now, if you're an older industry person like myself, the 30 to 40 year old sort of, well, probably 35 to 40 year old age bracket, this sort of rings true because this is, we grew up in the industry pre-internet. So, like, you really think about Facebook only got really big in 2006, 2007. Before that, it was blogs. YouTube wasn't really that big until 2006, 2007. You couldn't just, smartphones didn't exist. So, self-mentorship sort of ties into self-education, which is one of my very first episodes, and it's something that I continue to sort of do, even though I can be viewed as a mentor for a lot of young bartenders. I also do myself a lot of self-mentorship. There's a lot of self-education. This year I got my CSS, I went back to school. I continue to sort of push myself to try and learn more and more. Now, self-education and self-mentorship is something that I think is the most primary big sort of one that you really need to think about because it's the one that will stand by you at the test of time. If you have your own self-drive to learn as much as you can, especially when you've got a supercomputer in your pocket. Like I'm actually taping on my iPhone right now, which will turn into an IGT video tomorrow, which is just insane. And I'll take the audio from that and turn it into a podcast. Like, the technology is insane. So self-mentorship in this day and age is much easier than it used to be. Back in the day, you'd have to try and either go to the library to use the internet or go find a book at a bookstore, which I still have 500 books back home in Australia. So, next level of mentorship, which I suppose sort of leads into this sort of self-mentorship, because I think self-mentorship is the primary reason you should be a mentor to yourself. You should be the driving force behind you learning more. And teaching yourself more, and you can Google so much stuff. I'm working on I'm working on this calculator for restaurants right now, and the amount of websites I've gone to and learnt new things and learnt new formulas and stuff like that is kind of incredible that I can just sit on my computer and go, done, Google it, or YouTube it. The next level is online mentorship, which sort of does play into the self-mentorship a lot. You have so many resources online, guys. Liquor.com, Bar Smarts, it's $20 and you can go get Bar Smarts done. Go do your CSS, that's a little bit more expensive if you're in the spirit side of things. You also can do the CSW, WSET 1, 2, 3. These courses start getting a little bit more expensive, but there's so much online material you can go and get certifications from by doing online work. So online mentorship is sort of a little bit of self-education, but with everything being so interconnected these days, you can actually have mentors in different parts of the world that actually help you through your day-to-day. And I have a lot of people who I email on a regular basis, or Facebook on a regular basis, or text. And you should do this, because I think if you look at mentorship as just in your little township or your little city, it'll dry up really quickly because there's certain cliques and networks that don't necessarily work with what you're trying to do. So finding someone who you can actually ask questions to and build your experience and build your knowledge on is really important. And I think using the online platform as that is you can learn a lot more from online than you can usually learn from your own city. And then third, now I'm going to say third is the easiest but not least important, but I think the other two can be much more controlled by you. And if you listen to my episode, you hold the remote control to your life. This is where mentorship and online mentorship, it really comes down to you putting yourself out there and pushing yourself to become better. Personal mentorship is a little bit obviously more personal, and so reaching out to people who are in your industry and sort of asking for, hey, you want to hang out and have coffee, or can I take you out for a beer, is a super big resource in your city to sort of learn and be mentored face to face. I do it with a bunch of people. I do it with a bunch of kids. I love being a mentor. I never really had mentors growing up, so I understand the difficulty it is to sort of open up, sort of ask for advice and show you sort of weaknesses and your deficiency that you need help with. It's a big step to sort of step out and ask, especially when you can just tweet out a question and a bunch of people, random people on Twitter will answer it, or LinkedIn, or wherever your platform is. So personal mentorship shouldn't be looked down upon, but shouldn't also be looked at as the most important part of mentorship, because I think that you can get a lot more from a lot more people. Audiobooks, podcasts. There's so many things that I use as what I class as mentorship. Because if you listen to an audiobook or you listen to a podcast that is industry based, you can learn a lot of things, you can grab a lot of things, and this is mentorship. This is things like that you would class as like learning from and building on and that sort of thing. So these are the three levels of mentorship that I believe exist, which is self-mentorship, which I think is the most important. I think you need to have self-confidence, confidence in yourself to sort of push yourself to be better. I believe that I have two personalities and they're both racing towards the same line, and they're always trying to better each other. And I think that's what pulls and pushes me on a regular basis to become a better person. Like, I don't think I needed to do the CSS this year, but I'm glad I did. And I'm going to do some more certifications next year to keep building on my experience and building on my knowledge and so on and so forth, which is a big one for me. Online mentorship. Reach out to industry stalwarts. Do it. Like, reach out to people in your industry that you would normally not think that would even answer. The only wrong thing that could happen is they say no. That's the worst thing someone's going to say is no. No, not interested. Don't have time. Blah blah blah. Yes is someone will say yes, and someone will take you under their wing and give you some pointers and give you some advice, and that's a big thing. And then finally, the one-on-one personal one. This one I think is more difficult in smaller cities because of just pure density and people that live in the city. There's not enough. So on that note, this is my second last post-shift shot for the year, which I really thank everybody for the year that I've had. We're coming up onto close to the 100th episode of the post-shift podcast, which is just amazing. As you can see, I'm wearing BC Spirit swag. I don't usually plug BC Spirit swag on my SHC post-shift podcast platform, but you know what? I got all this cool stuff the other day, and I really love my swag. I keep wearing my swag. When you work at home, it's fantastic to be able to wear whatever you like. But I hope you had a good Christmas. Well, actually, sorry, no, Christmas is tomorrow. Have a good Christmas. Enjoy your time off with your family. Have some nice turkey. Go up a couple glasses of wine with the folks. Enjoy your couple of days off, guys. I will see you next week, and have a good week. Bye.
Thanks, Post Shifters. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you're listening, whatever platform you're on, give me a good rating, subscribe, listen along. I'm going to keep going. I really enjoy sitting down with people and learning where they're from, what they did, and how they got to where they were. So if you love it, give me a good 5 stars. If you don't, give me 1 and I'll try harder.